Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll, and it is Friday Eve, right before Brandon's favorite day of the work week. He's just a young man. He don't understand how good Mondays are. And by the way, it ain't payday this week, so it's not going to be as happy a Friday as you thought it would be. Just to let you know that, Mr. Como. All righty, great to have you with us as we rock and roll. A lot of stuff to cover today. And by the way, congratulations to Jeff Landry, Vice President of the Attorney General's Association. And apparently he was down in the meeting somewhere, and he got to be the VP of that. I don't know if that's an honor or they put people in there that just get in office for the first time. I hadn't figured out which one, but when I get Jeff on, I'm going to ask him because he might say, I was late for the damn meeting. So anyway, he might have been on a deal. All right, folks, we're going to jump gear. Third Congressional District in the House. Captain Clay Higgins. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Moon. I feel great today. How are you?
Well, I tell you what, it's kind of you hadn't been in an election before. But you did because you already ran one round. But, boy, I bet with 9 days left, you probably one of the ones that's saying this will end one day.
This will. Yeah,
good or bad, it's going to end.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. That's how we feel right now.
Oh, no doubt about it. I'm going to ask this question to you first. Captain Higgins, of course, is running for the 3rd Congressional District. We cover all the state and some places outside. He came in second in a runoff. He's running against Scott Angelle. I'm going to ask the question first to you because did you expect to get attacked like this? Now, by the way, I didn't talk to Clay. I don't remember the last time. I saw you one time. I met you one time. It was at the Logan's Roadhouse
deal. Right, on Veterans Day.
I'm going to ask the question because I knew a vicious attack was coming. And I know you're going against a lifetime leftist politician, but did you really expect to be attacked? Because this is a massive attack from a guy who feels like he's something slipping. So I'm just asking, did you really expect to get attacked this much? Because this is an attack.
I'm told that this one of the dirtiest, nastiest attacks, even by Louisiana standards, that the political people can remember. But to answer your question, months ago I was told that it was likely that I would make the runoff and that I would be attacked. And I said, no, I'm not going to. The gentleman's not going to attack me because I'll never say a disparaging word about him. So I was rather naive about that. I was told that was
by the way, that's
his
normal.
style.
That's
you
ain't
what they
been
said.
There. I mean, you don't know. If I ran for, by the way, I'm never doing it. But if I ever ran for office, there's so many things I'd be naive about.
Well, yeah, and I'll certainly fit that description. I just didn't anticipate this level of attack. Although I was warned, I dismissed it. I said, surely the gentleman's not going to attack. I'm not going to attack him. Why would he attack me? So, yes, sir, I have been a little surprised. It has been shocking to my spirit and hurtful to my feelings and my family and whatnot. But I'm just not responding.
I'm glad you got over that quick because that's what you got to do. Oh, well, one of the things they use, and I'm not going to go into detail, was all drummed up by them and the Jindal people and all the connections from somebody that doesn't even live here. And to me, that's what got me so mad. Because when I saw this, I said, whoa, just a second, are people going to see what I see? Now, I think I've explained it pretty well on the air. From my perspective, looking at this thing, I know all the tie-ins, but that is low. That is so low the way this thing's set up by Angelle and them. I'm sorry, if somebody gets their feelings hurt, that's your problem. It's not mine. I'm going to tell the truth. But I'm just curious because a man has to be able to handle this because when he gets into office, you never know what's coming, but somebody's got to be able to handle what you're handling. I think you've handled it well because you really hadn't struck back. You use social media more than anything just to say, hey, people are tired of that. And they are, by the way.
Right. Well, we've restrained from responding. I'm no man's puppet. You know, what they anticipated was that they were going to take 1% of a truth and weave a 99% lie around these various ridiculous attacks. You know, like I'm a fake cop or whatever. Just stupid stuff. And
I know of a fake Republican in this race, but I don't know of a fake
that's
cop.
Right. Little R at least. But I just wasn't going to, dance on those strings. And I wasn't going to lower myself to that level. That's far beneath my standard of decorum and civility. I believe that we have great challenges that face our nation, and they need to be approached with statesman-like, candor and truth, yes, and sometimes difficult issues that are uncomfortable to discuss, yes, but they should be handled with civility and decorum, the opposite of the way that Mr. Angelle is handling his campaign.
Oh, no doubt about it, and it tells me a lot about who they are. But I wanted to throw that out because I think you have handled it. You hear about this thing, negative ads don't work. Actually, they do work a lot of times. Sometimes they backfire. Sometimes they backfire big time. I saw it in the 5th congressional race, and guess what? Timmy Tebow was running that campaign too. He actually hurt his client as he tried to destroy the next man. And this Teeple fella, I'm about convinced, is why Bobby Jindal, I don't care what anybody says, Bobby was always a good guy, and then he drifted. This Teeple fella molds people in the wrong way. He wanted to one day be, I'm convinced, he wanted Bobby to win the presidency. He wanted to be chief of staff and say, I'm running the country. That's how that guy's mind works. I know I know Clay's looking at me, Captain Higgins is looking at me like, people think like that?
Yeah. No,
you're watching it. You're watching it in your own eyes.
Of course, you observe this through the course of your life. My major in school was political science, and I've been participating in politics and all my life. But the first campaign I participated in, I was 11 years old. I passed out flyers for Richard Nixon in 1972 at my grade school. So I've been politically active all my life and a conservative Republican. And so these things exist, but it's one thing to know that this level of sort of cunning, clever, insidious, calculated attack and strategies exist. It's one thing to know that it exists, and another thing to be subject to it.
Well, you're going through it, and sometimes you got to walk in those shoes. My first election I held, I was a kid. Bobby Griffon was the sheriff of Iberville Parish for 16 years. Jess Huso came along and ended up upsetting him by a few hundred votes. But the only thing, I was passing out flyers, and I remember some people scratching them up and throwing it at you. I mean, I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do? Hey, you 280-pound chump, let's fight? I don't think so. But you also have a military background. When did you serve in all military?
Yes, sir. I joined the Army in 1988, began my basic training in January. So
you're a volunteer guy.
1989.
Back then the draft was already gone, correct?
Right, yeah, I volunteered, and I was a military police officer. I served honorably. Moon, I was no war hero. My service pales in comparisons to my brothers and sisters of, my veteran brothers and sisters that I love and cherish and visit and speak to regularly. So, yes, I did serve honorably. When I got out the Army, I was an E6 staff sergeant. I did serve overseas in Panama. So, yes, sir, I served my country honorably, and I'm happy to have done so. It's in my DNA. My father was a pilot in World War II in the Navy, and military service goes back in my family's history. And, of course, I've been a cop now for 12 years, and I'm still a cop.
Well, that was the next question, because of the left, Angelle left, I call them. Hillary left, and you more the Higgins-Trump side. Talk a little bit about that. You're still considered a policeman or cop, aren't you? I mean, they got people out there saying, hey, they were a cop. Huh?
Yeah,
so how do you answer that when somebody
ridiculous.
says that?
That'd be like somebody running a commercial with you on TV saying, you're not a radio personality. It's just stupid.
You're
on the radio every day, and you're quite a personality.
That's it. It stops right there.
So I'm just
curious because
yes, I am a Louisiana State.
Hey, this is that whispering campaign. They throw stuff. They got one commercial calling you phony and fake, and I'm sitting here going, the guy they're calling you phony and fake is the guy calling you that is the phony and fake. But I'm just asking you.
Right. Well, it's
talk about your.
I am a Louisiana State post-certified peace officer. I still carry my commission. There was never 1 second that I didn't carry a commission as a certified police officer. I still maintain my certifications. I'm currently commissioned through the Lafayette City Marshal's office with the rank of captain. I'm on reserve status and leave of absence since I began this campaign because it was a matter of ethics. You understand? It would have been unethical for me to draw a check from the Marshal's office while I campaign. But my commission is valid and my post-certification is current. Yeah. And I'm still a cop. And by the way, I'll always be a cop when we win this thing, and we will. When I say we, I mean we the people.
Sure.
When we win this thing, I'm still going to be a cop. I'm going to maintain my certifications and perform my reserve status, with the Marshal's office down the line.
Something else, and I'll bring back this Teeple guy. You flew to Washington, rightfully so. You should go see what's going on. You got to raise money. That's all part of it. You flew in your own nickel because Timmy Teeple. This is Timmy Teeple. He tweets out, Clay Higgins flew on taxpayers' dollars. Is he going to pay it back? And my thought was, man, I got on air and I go, not trying to defend you. I'm trying to, these people that work in Angelle's campaign are just so freaking hateful and ugly. So I said, how did he fly? That's what I want to know. How did you fly if you're not really working for a government and that government entity you're working for is not paid your ticket to go? Where'd you get the government money to fly up there?
Yeah, no, we of course, the campaign paid for my flight and my staffer that came with me.
I see no problem with that.
We booked the tickets a week before the 8th. Why did we book them a week before the 8th? A, because we were confident we were going into the runoff, and B, it's cheaper to get tickets a week before the 8th.
That's pretty smart.
But
apparently Angelle didn't go.
That's just another lie.
They turned around and made it sound like, man, and I told it to Brandon. I told it to our audience. I said, would somebody call in or text me or email me? There's so many ways to get in touch with me. How does this guy go on government dollars, but this is Timmy Teeple? Just put it out there, hoping it would grab hold. That's what this campaign's been about.
Here's the deal. I was invited to participate in orientation, as was Mr. Angelle. It's a unique deal because Louisiana has its jungle primary and potentially a runoff. So, and so here we were.
Hey, hold your thought. Let me take this break. Hold your thought. We'll come back to it. Captain Clay Higgins, candidate for 3rd Congressional District in the House with me. We'll do at least one more segment. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Captain Clay Higgins in the House, and Captain Clay Higgins is running for the 3rd Congressional District. He's visiting with us about stuff going on in the campaign. I want to back up again, Cap, just because I don't think we were able to finish it up. Y'all invited the orientation because and like you said, we have a closed primary, so we haven't runoffs. You're one of the only congressional races in the world right now.
That's right.
In the country. This in the 4th Congressional. Everybody else is done. So you get invited while they had orientation for everybody else, and you and Scott's invited. Teeple tweets out, the government paid for you to go there. I'm going to let you back up and start there again.
Yeah, that's a lie. I wasn't aware of that tweet because, I don't pay attention to lesser men. It's like something stuck to the bottom of my shoe. I don't get emotional about that. That man can tweet what he wants to. The truth is, yes, Scott and I were each invited to orientation, and the government would have paid for that because they knew. I guess that's their decision.
One of y'all
one of us is going to Washington, right? So we did receive that packet, but we didn't accept that because it would have been unethical. Because that's not why I was going to D.C. I was going to D.C. to meet conservative group after conservative group after conservative group. I had 40 meetings in 2 days. I didn't go there for orientation. And so, of course, we didn't have the government pay for that. My campaign paid for my tickets, and, of course, it paid for all our expenses, and that'll be on our campaign, finance reports and whatnot. So, Mr. Teeple, I've never met the gentleman, or Mr. Angelle. With all due respect, they can say and do what they want. They can lie all they want to. I'm just not going to lower myself to that standard.
Yeah, everybody says that, but they all get in the muck, but I hadn't seen it yet, so. And you're closing down. I mean, basically 9 days to go. All right, three issues real quick with you. What do you feel like are the 2 or 3 things that if you get there that you're hoping Congress will do that you're going to be a part of? Just a couple, 3 things. Maybe it affects our area. Maybe it affects the country nationwide. What are some things? Because, I mean, your people are grassroots people. Some are rich, some are poor, some are in between. But what are they telling you? Or what would you like to see done? Just not 50 things. 2 or 3 things that you think this Congress and this president is going to get done.
Well, I believe we have a unique opportunity, historic opportunity in our country to really reel things back in on a federal level and reestablish constitutional parameters for our federal government. We have a President-elect Trump that's committed to that. Republicans control, the House and the Senate, and we have opportunity to put Supreme Court justices in place over the next few years, the right kind of men and women that understand strict interpretation of the script of the Constitution. So we have a unique opportunity in our country right now to stand this thing back up. I've been advised, Moon, that I have a couple of seats reserved for me on committees. I'd like to be on transportation and infrastructure, Veterans Affairs, and energy, of course. So we have, through those committees, that greatly affect, South Louisiana, all three, yes. And we have needs with infrastructure regarding our ports and access to our ports, the completion of the I-49 corridor. We have many infrastructure challenges in South Louisiana. Our coast, the erosion of our coastline and depletion of Louisiana land oceanic activity and the lack of replenishment, the natural replenishment, which God designed.
That has a lot from the diversion of the Mississippi River. By the way, nothing to do with man-made global warming.
Right.
I had to throw that out there. I would think, though, Obamacare and the borders, I heard Rush said yesterday, he was right. If we would just enforce the laws at the borders and start sending people back before you build in the fence, it would help tremendously.
Yeah, I have a unique perspective of that as a police officer. I can tell you that for the last about decade, nothing happens to, if I stop a vehicle for a traffic violation as a street cop, and I find that there's, say, 4 illegal immigrants in that car, nothing happens to their guys. You can't arrest them because it's a misdemeanor. You can bring them to your jail. ICE won't come get them. ICE used to come get them. You have 10 days you can hold them in jail, right, before you have to let them go. ICE is not coming to get them.
They might come get them with Trump in.
They will now. That's what we're told. My point is that, and you don't give them a citation because, of course, they're not showing up at traffic court. They're already illegal immigrant. You can't tow their car. Then you got 4 illegal immigrants on foot walking around your jurisdiction. You get phone calls for days.
Wow.
They just roll out. That's reality. That's reality from a street cop perspective. Now, I'm going to tell you, as soon as a word comes down that ICE will start picking these guys up, we'll start arresting them.
Well, and
we'll start arresting them.
Quit coming too, won't you think?
Then the word will be on the street. Within a month, the word will be on the street that the gig is up, and the illegal immigrants that are currently in our country start deporting themselves. Because think about it. They'd much rather leave the country on their own accord, by their own timeline, with their car, with their cash, with their belongings, and head back south across the border, as opposed to being crossed by the law, picked up, all their belongings seized, incarcerated, and eventually deported anyway. So you'll see people keep asking, well, how are you going to deal with all these millions of illegal immigrants in the country? Are they going to deport themselves? As soon as local law enforcement finds out that ICE will come pick them up,
hold your thought. I'm going to come back just for a few more minutes, and then I'll let you go. Captain Clay Higgins running for 3rd Congressional seat right here, great state of Louisiana. We'll take a break, a few more minutes with Captain Clay. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. A little entertaining in here, huh, Brandon? What are you laughing at me for? By the way, they're laughing at me. It wasn't a Cap.
No, it was you. It's always you.
I like to have fun when I'm by myself or with somebody. Other than that, I don't like to have fun. Anyway, Captain Clay Higgins is my special guest, and I'm gonna let you wrap up. I know you was talking about illegals, and by the way, you made a lot of good points. All industry, energy, executive orders, all that stuff is going to play big.
Right, it ties together. We have to reduce, scale back the size of the federal government, and this can begin immediately by trashing these hundreds and hundreds of executive orders that have been enforced through the alphabet government, the whole 4th branch of government that we need to reel in. And these executive orders have restricted the oil and gas industry from recovery from the natural downturn, and it goes up and down the value of a barrel of oil. There's nobody better, nobody's smarter and more adept at responding to that than the oil and gas industry and the ancillary businesses that support oil and gas in South Louisiana. However, the federal government has, I believe, purposefully written orders to restrict the ability of the oil and gas industry to naturally recover. So we're going to fix this so fast with a president that's willing to revoke those things and the right kind of patriot, passionate Americans in the House of Representatives. A guy like me, working class guy that understands the struggle of regular Americans. We must stop sending millionaire career politicians with their own personal agenda, trying to posture for the next election or line themselves up for the next more powerful position that they can gain. We need to send working class, solid patriots with common sense solutions into the House of Representatives. And Moon, I'm that guy in this race.
All right. Anything else you want to add to ask the voters or talk to the voters?
Yes,
and I'll let you get out of here.
Early voting is, to us is very, very important. I encourage the
Have y'all had to get out to vote early, vote and stuff? Because, everybody doesn't see everything.
We've done our best. We've done our best with the limited resources. As you know, we have a fraction of the money that Mr. Angelle has.
I got a number, and it wasn't from y'all because I didn't even talk to y'all. 151-4 is what Angelle's outspending you.
Yeah.
Think about that number right there.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. That's off the chart.
I can tell you, I've been told that we have run the least expensive, successful congressional campaign in modern history. And by the way, I believe that's how our federal government should act. It should be small, efficient, and effective. This is how we run our campaign. That's how we'll continue. So I ask your listeners to if it's on their heart to support my mission here. It's our mission to restore our nation, to get into the booth and vote early, because we really need the early vote turnout, because Saturday, December the 10th, there's going to be some good hunting going on, and I sure need to vote in before my voters out there hunting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All righty. Cap, best of luck. God bless you.
God bless you.
Best of luck,
Thank
man.
you,
all right, I'll let you guys sneak out of here. Don't break my door. I'm talking to the bodyguard, folks. I got to tell you, I'm just good to see you, brother. Good seeing you, man. You're just not as pretty as the other one, but you're stronger. To make you feel better, you're stronger. Yeah, what he said, I'm glad I'm not pretty. Well, there might be some women that think he was pretty, but not the men. And then back up. I shouldn't say that in this day and time. What was that, Brandon?
No, I'm not saying nothing.
Brad is going. Was a little entertainment going on here. Brad has got to stick it out. Yeah, you. Well, I mean, I laugh, but you got to admit though, I laugh at myself. Brandon says I'm the only guy he knows walks around the building making fun of himself.
Sets people up.
To make fun of me.
Sets them up with the punchline, and if they don't catch it,
then
he'll
I
give them the punchline.
Brandon, I'm telling you, I'm the laugh and talk show host. I enjoy my job, I enjoy my life, and I'm very thankful to be living in the USA and also in the great state of Louisiana. I love it. But anyway, that Third Congressional District is race. You can vote today. You can vote tomorrow. You can vote Saturday. If you miss voting because you're going out of town, the next Saturday, you're done. If you don't vote by Saturday, you're done. And if you can't vote the next Saturday on the 10th, you won't vote at all. So really, you need to get on out and vote. It's time for somebody to vote. I voted, and like I said, it wasn't a whole lot of people. Brandon, have you been, I know you're a news guy too. Have you followed any of that statewide, or is it high, low? I mean, it's lower than the presidential, but we know that.
No, it's low. I mean, the last I saw on the first day of early voting, the numbers was 22,000 compared to what they expected at 35,000, or they compared it to a previous election. Oh no, they compared it. I think they compared it to another election where it was 35,000, and this one was only 22.
That's a lot.
So
less.
The numbers dropped dramatically.
See, the thing about early voting, we don't understand or don't know yet. I don't think we know. It doesn't really dictate what's happening on election day. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't, Brandon, because it could be a high number because election day nobody goes. It could be a low number because everybody goes on election day. There's going to be people that's going to vote. 4th Congressional District, 3rd Congressional District, and Senate, and we're the only game in town.
I'm starting to be like what we were talking about the other day off the air, where we need to get rid of these runoffs. Have them,
Well, all you do is go to
like the only state that's doing that right now.
Closed primaries ends it.
Exactly.
Closed primary ends what we're going through right now. Now, Brandon, I'm torn between this, but when I get with another month to go, you get burnt out on this stuff.
Well, and I get it because you want the best man to win. And look, regardless of party, I would want the best two to get in it as well. But I mean, it's just the fact that we're still going on with this. Many people get voter fatigue right now. There's been so many people that I've talked to that happily voted in the last election that are like, okay, I'm done. I did my part. Anything
over 30% in this election, I'm going to be shocked. Now, if it comes in at 45 or 42 or 39, I'm going to be shocked.
But is this just another...
25 to 30%, I think, is a big turnout for this election. And maybe, because here's why. Yes, you got a Senate race everywhere, but there's only 2 of our 6 congressional districts that have a congressional race. And there's no local. Now, there may be a few local things on some of the ballots somewhere that I don't know about because I'm not going to look at all the ballots.
There are.
But it's not enough stuff to draw people out.
No, not at all.
And in the Senate race, I was laughing. Bananas Foster's claiming they raised $2.5 million in 30 days. Mm-hmm. And they may have, but you know how they raised it? The Democrat National Party, the Democrats didn't come in here. Rachel Maddow. Now, let me tell you, Rachel Maddow, y'all know her. Is she CNN, MSNBC?
MSNBC.
Okay, nutted up of all things. If you want to know how left she is, go left. Keep going left. No, go left. Keep going. Go left. Left. Keep going. Run. Get in the car, airplane. And when you get to where the cliff falls off, jump off. Because that's how left and low she is. She's on there because, you know what they're telling people? They're telling people, oh, no, Bananas Foster can win this. And he can if nobody goes vote.
Although I'm sure they didn't say Bananas Foster.
Well, Well, I could give them that if they need me to for a quick interview. But bananas is they're being told, Edwards won that, the Democrat won. Edwards never won an election. People went against Vitter. And they never, Democrats, just like with Trump, they never understand what happened in an election. So I've seen polls in this election, but on the flip side, if people don't go vote, anything can happen.
So let's play what if, all right? So if you have the closed primaries, do you think that Foster Campbell would have a better shot at beating a John Kennedy?
No. What you'd have had is a presidential. Think about it. Now, let's back up. Let's just say it ended up. I don't know if Kennedy comes out the Republican. I don't know if it was Stanley Fleming, but let's just say it came out like it did.
Right.
Now you can have a third and fourth party. Mm-hmm. You can have majority. I mean, a plurality vote could win then because you can have the Green Party or the Hiccup Party or the whatever run. And so what happens, Brandon? Let's just say it ended up like it is. The runoff would have been on the presidential election. And Trump got 58%, Hillary got 38%. Mm-hmm. And that's probably what you'd have seen. You'd have seen Kennedy get probably 58%. You'd have seen Bananas Foster get 38%. No, I don't think it's going to be any different unless people don't go vote. Now, if people don't go vote in some kind of way, Foster can buy enough votes. I don't think he can.
Well, the reason I was asking you that was not to say that Foster Campbell would have a chance either way. I mean, the polls are showing him pretty down.
He has a chance if people don't go vote.
If people don't go vote.
Absolutely.
But I'm asking you as opposed to having a normal, a normal election as opposed to what we have in here in Louisiana.
Oh, no, Brandon.
We're the only ones that are
going
going
that's what
farther.
I'm saying. The election would have been decided on the Trump-Hillary election that we just had.
Okay.
And Trump got 58 and Hillary got 38. There's no way Bananas Foster would have got any closer. And if it would have been closer, it would have been like 1 point. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. People that wanted Republicans and change would have voted for Trump and voted for Kennedy. This thing would be over by a big margin. And then here's what the funny thing is. Let's go to 3rd Congressional District. Mm-hmm. Scott Angelle wouldn't even be in a runoff. I really believe it because what Scott would have had to run was in the Republican primary. And if it had been just Republican voters, Angelle wouldn't be in a runoff. He'd been second or third. He wouldn't even be in a runoff. I don't know if Clay would or not, but he wouldn't be in a runoff.
Okay, now let's do this. Since you've gone to the 3rd Congressional District, you've talked about how this election is so important, but you've also talked about, I don't want to say the legacy of Scott Angelle, but how if he loses this election, what else does he have after this? Compare that to Foster Campbell and his potential at losing this election.
Well, Bananas is never going to win statewide. And I think Scott...
But this is the end of his political career.
Well, he's been around a while. He's still going to be a public service commissioner, but he's never going to be a congressman. He's never going to win statewide. And I think I put him and Scott in the same boat. If Scott gets beat, he's never winning statewide. He's done. He didn't win Congress. I don't know where he goes. Maybe he can run for parish president again. Maybe he can run for a representative senator. Maybe somebody will appoint him to a board, just like the one he's making $380,000. He's making $380,000 a year on a board on a company he regulates. Okay, he made $1.5 million over the last 4 or 5 years. He's only going to 51 meetings. Do the math. He's making $30,000 a meeting. That's a fact. That's what he's making. That's not your average boy out there. That tells me you own and bought and paid for. That's what it tells me. Anyway, no, Scott, if this was a closed primary, but in Scott stayed a Republican, Scott would have never ever been in a runoff. It wouldn't have been close because of what he did to David Vitter. And by the way, I'm hearing a lot of that out there right now. All right, we got to take a break. Your calls are welcome. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.